y'all. Sorry,
Hey, live
live
though.
radio is live. You know what I'm saying? That's what happened.
It is unforgiving.
Not to mention the filming happened. So hey, listen, thank you for that. So y'all make sure y'all do what she said because she's perspective. You feel me? And for my YouTube audience, you know what I'm saying? Please like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell so you can get some of the visuals of Candid Conversation. And please leave your feedback because I'm trying to develop the platform, of course, with you in mind. You feel me? So I want to make sure that all avenues are taken care of so we get the best knowledge possible. You feel me?
The best content.
Content. I'm trying to get there.
Hey,
We
you're
trying
doing.
to get there.
You're doing, remember?
Listen, I love it. So let's introduce the guests because
Yes.
I'm excited about today. You know what I'm saying? I already
Absolutely.
ate some of the food.
I mean, right. We have guests come bearing gifts.
Food as
and
gifts.
delicious food at that.
Listen, well, we're going to start with her.
Okay.
So we both know this young lady.
We do.
You know what I'm saying? I used to think she's really mean.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying?
That's how we start.
That's how it starts off. She give you that resting beep face.
Yeah.
You know
That
what I'm saying?
poker face. That
poker, like,
I don't play the
yeah,
radio. Don't try it.
Right.
Don't think about it.
but sweet as pie.
Always.
Shante Robinson May. How are you this morning, love?
I am doing great. And good morning, everybody.
Good morning. It is such a pleasure to see you. I haven't seen her since, you know
Some
what?
years.
Yeah, some years.
Yeah.
I remember I talked to you.
Yeah, we have spoken. Yes, we have spoken
Okay.
once in between.
Okay. Well, good. Keeping in touch with good
She's
people.
like, I know that name. Nobody has your name.
I know that voice.
I know that voice.
I know the
I love it.
voice.
It's so good to see you. You still look great.
Thank
Nothing's changed. It's not cracking. It looks amazing.
you. Black don't crack.
Black don't, baby. You feel me? I'm so happy you're here. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And my other friend, hi D Pope, y'all.
Hey, how we doing?
We doing.
First off, let me congratulate you.
Okay, I'm taking it all in.
Let me
Yeah.
congratulate you because you have been getting it in at the gym.
Oh yeah, listen.
You know, you have really been slimming it
Ah,
down.
man.
Man, you've been getting at it because we all know the statistics, in particular within our own community.
Yeah.
Black males are dying at a much alarming rate than
Yes.
black females. So I thank you for taking care of you.
Thank you, and I thank my trainer Spidey. Thank you, sir. Thank you for staying in on me, because I promise you, if it wasn't him, I wouldn't do it. Sometimes you just need a little motivation, a little push, because I will not.
And remember that after this,
After
these
this
rolls.
food.
Yes, after these Shannon rolls.
So Shanti, tell us a little about yourself, what you do, and tell these people about this. It's food.
So Shante Robinson May, I work in the corporate world, but I'm also a caterer. And it's called May We Cater for You. And today, as a surprise to everyone,
Yes, God.
Delicious
cannot be a
surprise.
catering company and don't come with gifts.
Come
So
on
we
with the
have-
samples.
We have some Shannon rolls. We have some ribs, some chicken, some baked beans with turkey meat. So just a little sample so that y'all can see what the product is about and to know the brand.
Now, see, I want y'all to hear what happened just a few minutes ago. If you are an entrepreneur and
Yes.
you want people to try your products and services, that's what you do.
That is how you do it.
That is how you do it. Because I only just sampled the Shannon roll and I'm already hooked.
Already ready to set up a catering
I'm
event.
already ready. Like, what's the price of the Shannon rolls? I need a pan. I'm gonna probably get a pan like real soon. I'm dead serious.
You start
Tell them
off-
what's in the Shannon roll.
So it's cream cheese, spinach, and grilled chicken. And they're wrapped in a veggie egg roll and they're fried to perfection.
Thank you, God.
They
When you
melt-
taste one,
they
I'm
melt in
telling
your
you,
mouth and not in your hands.
It literally. I ain't even BSing about the food. You know, I'm
Right.
from Louisiana and I don't play. That food was that's just the Shannon roll. I ain't had nothing else.
That's what we woke up to.
That's when we woke up the Shannon roll. I ain't even had no grits. We talking Shannon rolls. I'm here for them. Well, thank you so much for bringing it, because we're going to make sure all that's advertised on the pages later and all that good stuff. So thank you for bringing it and coming. D, tell these folks about yourself, because you're a good old information bucket. Tell them what's going on.
No. I'm not like that. My name is Dee, and I'm originally from Chicago, retired veteran of over 26 years.
Nice.
Decided
Thank you
to retire here in Atlanta because I had challenges of trying to find a place that was entrepreneur friendly. And Atlanta rates me number one. where I didn't get a lot of feedback. Like, we can be in the same caterings, we could be in the same space, and there was no, I can't give you any information about how to get started in the business. And that was one of the reasons why I wound up retiring here. And I eventually found my passion after sitting at home. You know how when you get older and you see older folks going outside early in the morning, raking the grass, picking up trash. I started doing that. I'm like, man, I'm only 40-something years old, right?
Even there.
So I gotta find something that I have a passion for, and fortunately, I found it in tax-late investing. So I enjoy investing in real estate and buying properties that have gone delinquent. So that's my specialty. I coach folks on how to buy tax-lien properties.
Hello.
I'm finna get in on
Listen,
that.
so we got good food, we
And
got
good
classes going on, how to
Listen.
get this money to pay for the good food and to do some other things with. Okay, sorry about that. I love it. That's what Candid Conversations with G does. It brings it all
brings
to
together.
you.
You know what I'm saying? I love that. I think I was looking at some of your stuff and I'm like,
Ding.
it's time.
I love it. I
'Cause
love
I'm tired
it.
of working for people. Now I love my job, hallelujah, but I'm tired.
Amen.
I'm tired.
And
So,
you know, when at some point you outgrow what
You
they can
do.
do for you.
You
You know
do.
what I'm saying?
you do.
The
But it's
check
cool.
is nice at first.
It's cool.
Yeah.
No, the checks stay nice. Thank you for the checks. Thank you. However,
I can add on.
I just want to add on.
Right,
Or do something myself. So I appreciate God giving us all these opportunities here and putting us in spaces together where we can get this information and people who are willing to share it.
Absolutely.
That's the part.
That part.
That's the part, because the whole crab in the barrel mentality. People like, well, I'm
You
up
can
here.
get-
You do what you got to do to get there.
Because I got mine.
'Cause I got it. I love that. So thank y'all for that. So listen, let's go ahead and get the blood flowing. I like to do a little icebreaker
Okay.
in the morning. You know what I'm saying? So here we go. I'll start with you, co-hosts with the most CPO.
Yes.
What is your favorite teenage song that you still listen to today that gives you that good feeling that nobody else listens to right now?
I don't know if anybody else doesn't listen to it, but it is Cool It Now, New Edition. That is.
They're on tour, by the way.
Absolutely.
So
They
people are
just
still
left ATL.
Yeah, they just was here.
Yeah, so yeah, anything from their catalog, but my favorite one is actually Cool It Now or Count Me Out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Those are good songs.
Yeah.
All right, what about you, Miss Shante?
You know, these cancers in the house.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? And we seen New Edition together.
We did.
So, oh my
Took a
God.
road
So
trip.
And actually, she took my answer, but I'm a revert and go to, and I just heard it the other day,
It's
old
coming.
group,
It's
Jerry
coming.
Curls,
It's coming. True.
no, not
Ready
True.
for the world.
Ready for the world?
Ready for the world, Lisa Coat Jam.
Lisa Colt Jam. Love
What's
me
the
some
song?
of that.
I know. I think I know. what song
She about to
you're
break
talking
out in the dance.
about. It's gonna come to
Head
her.
to toe. Head to toe. Head to toe.
Yeah, cause you know that thump. You hear that? Come on now. I don't care where you at. You hear that? Come
And
on.
just so y'all know,
Hey.
Shanti can dance.
Yeah.
Shanti
I feel
can
like I believe that
dance.
too. I feel like
Listen, you name any two-step, side-step, hustle, whatever,
Yeah.
Shanti can put it down.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Come on, Lisa Coat Jam.
Okay.
You got to know.
You done went way back.
That's the song.
That's
That's
the
the
song.
song.
What's up, you, Miss D? What you got?
Control.
Oh, not the
Ooh,
that's G's girl.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yep. Grew up on her.
Well, she'll be here on the 26th, so I will not be on air that day because I'm going to be at
We
her
won't
concert.
be on air.
Yeah, we will not be on air that day because I'm going to the Janet concert.
Yeah.
I've seen her like 10 times in concert.
She's great.
I love her. Pleasure Principle is mine.
Yes,
Yeah.
come on.
I love
Okay, good.
And
Okay.
yours?
Well, I wasn't even born when this came out. My other friend, my other boy is Mike.
Of course.
So Off the Wall in 1978, that album came out. I wasn't alive, but when the Thriller era came, and I went back and heard some of the songs, Off the Wall is the song. The title track to the album, Off the Wall, that
Definitely.
song gives me shivers in the inside. I can be having a good day. I will cry because I'm in a good mood because the song put me there.
Yep.
It's like, okay, if I need to get that mood, that song coming on. Gotta leave that 9 to 5 up on the shelf and just enjoy
yourself. Enjoy
Let the
yourself.
madness in the music get to you, because life ain't so bad
At all.
if you're
Living
living
up the wall.
That's my jam.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it just gave me shivers right there.
Anything from Mike.
Ooh, so yeah, that's my jam, y'all. Okay, I learned a little bit about y'all. I want to go hear some of these old songs today. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, now that the blood is flowing, the juices is created, let's get serious here and talk about some of this stuff. Y'all ready?
Yes.
All right, this is an open space. Feel free to talk at your leisure. It's safe and it's non-judgmental. Share what you feel, so it's all good to go. So what I want to talk about is, this is one that my CPO came up with, and I was like, yeah,
That's what I'm talking about.
yeah. So, do we rely on others to define who we are as individuals? Shante, I'm going to start with you. Do we rely on other individuals to define who we are as individuals?
Some of us do. And
Okay.
Some of us don't.
Right.
And I think the ones that do have certain insecurities that they need somebody to either validate or to confirm for them.
Yeah.
And then the people who don't understand who they truly are, and they're good in their space.
Yeah.
So to me, it's a mixture.
Okay.
I have to co-sign on that.
Yeah.
I know for me, my personality, I'm an Aquarius, so there's no need or room for, to add somebody to sort of validate, me. And I think sometimes your astrology, and I'm spiritual, so I believe in God.
Absolutely.
Sometimes I believe some of the verbiage centered around astrology signs have a little bit of validity to them. And then, just in general, there are folks, depending on the environment you were raised in, you may not have, received such validation to say you're good enough. You don't need somebody to co-sign, on you overall. So, for me, I think, I completely, agree with
Okay. What about you, CBO?
Well, I mean, obviously the ladies are definitely on to something and on point. I think being groomed from a group mentality to conform, we're kind of groomed to conform and to look outside of ourselves, then it is going to lend itself to you looking for someone else to validate you, your feelings. And especially I think it happens a lot of times in relationships, right? Where you depend on the other person to quote unquote make you whole. It's like you are already whole, but you want me to fill in a gap or something that is actually for you to do. Then you place all that pressure on me to, bring you something to, say, well, hey, you make me feel like this, or if it wasn't for you, I was this and things like that, when obviously I'm an out picture on what you're looking for, but you can't allow, you can't put that pressure on me. I can't define you and define me at the same time. Maybe can help you out a little bit, maybe can give you some clues just based on what I see, but only you know who you are, what you stand for, and things like that. But it's just, I think that, again, part of how we are raised in the school systems and things like that, we raise a bunch of followers. So you're going to always be looking for somebody else to tell you what to do and not listen to yourself, which ends up being, again, outside validation. And I was just telling somebody the other day, I said, it's so funny now, you look for followers. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing now, how many followers do you have and stuff like that. So we're so busy following others that you inevitably end up looking for them to provide you with a type of security or validation that you find out later in life only you can give yourself.
I was just gonna say, like, we're in the media now in the time of social media, so everybody's looking for validation, obviously, with the things that they're posting and the things that they're doing. Like the people who got, and I'm not saying this is like a low self-esteem move, but you got people that's like showing pictures of their body to get the attention, or everything is for a like and a follow now. So like, obviously, I need these people who know nothing about me and I know nothing about them to validate who I am as an individual. Why? I don't know. Why is that happening? What's going on?
Well, I mean, it starts at, right, eating some of that great, may we cater for you
eating
gifts.
Right.
But I think it starts, like, we the first validation we seek is from our parents, right? We do something, we want them to say, "Ooh, you did good," and stuff like that. So it ends up expanding outside of that, though. You know, it seemed that I guess it would be natural to want the validation of your parent because, again, somebody tell you something good, it feels good, and if it feels good, you're gonna want more of it, right? So we do a lot more to try to please the parent, but I mean, it can even go wrong on that stage too, where you end up trying to live in a life that they have designed for you because, again, you're trying to get them to validate who you are. And then ultimately, again, if you're not being true to you. So it's okay if you say, "Hey, Tab, you should be a doctor." And that's what I end up wanting to do. But then I just do it because I'm trying to please you. So once I do that to please you, sometimes I end up miserable, quit it because you found out that I only did it because, you know, I wanted my mother to be happy and all that other stuff. And if you start there, and the longer you perpetuate it, just even in a household, it's gonna spill outside.
I
You know what I'm
mean,
saying?
yeah, go ahead.
I think that's 70s and 80s.
I was just gonna say
validation
that.
from the parents. These kids these days don't look for validation from parents.
Nope.
If we really look into it, they want their friends or others to actually validate who they are, and they are the ones who actually need to be defined as individuals from their friends.
Exactly.
We're like a secondhand validation.
Yep.
And I think that's because social media. They have so much more connection with the outside world that we never had. You know what I'm saying? Think about when we grew up, when we was talking on the phone, we was walking across the kitchen on the long cord.
On the long cord,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? We didn't have
spiral.
internet. We didn't have all these. We didn't have all,
Easy accessible thing.
yeah, that they currently have now. So when they're on social media showing their body, or they're on there doing something crazy, doing these TikTok challenges or whatever they're doing, that's them looking for validation from individuals, because somewhere in their mindset, that's what they've come up with, because communication is one of the things that they truly lack. When we actually want to have a broader conversation with our kids, they'd rather text you something,
Yep.
they'd rather send it to you on a chat or some type of other thing other than talking, because talking is too hard for them, and talking takes them outside their comfort zone, as to where the other individual who validates them don't need to talk to them.
Yep.
They don't need to explain anything to them. So I think in that, when you form that question, that's why we look at how they're being defined as individuals.
You took
Agreed.
the exact words. Go ahead.
Because you're right, where parenting is parenting. Every generation changes up. I'm born in 71, and it just seems like the 90s or 2000 parents have decided to give their kids what we call their own individuality. There's no longer parenting. There is, we're equal.
We're friends now, or
Yeah,
something like that.
and
yeah.
we're equal in that respect of friends, right? And so when I was looking at the news the other day, and we all got an alert if you have your phone set for alerts if a child is missing.
Yeah.
And earlier this week, there was a child, 2 kids missing, a 10-year-old and a 4 or 5-year-old. And when they found the kids later on that night, or they found them the next day, they interviewed the mother. And this is what the mother said. When I realized at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. that my child or my kids were not at home, I then began to get worried. That signified to me that she obviously allows them, a 10-year-old and a 4 or 5-year-old, to
Yep.
be out in the streets
At that time of
at
night.
that time of the hour.
Yep.
Now, at that point, the streets have gotten them, and they're going to raise them. But where we're failing at is that the parents at a certain generation are no longer being parents. So there's no way, for example, you talk TikTok, and they're trying to ban TikTok here. Government is absolutely right. They ought to ban it. Why? TikTok is a Chinese product, but I'm going to circle back and explain something to you, right? In China, they don't spend that time on TikTok.
They don't. That's America.
They understand
Yep.
the brainwash system.
Yeah.
We're not going to brainwash our folks,
Yep.
right?
Our children.
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
which is why they can come over here and capitalize on everything American.
Exactly.
But
So
awesome.
when we get here, parents are like at a certain age, oh, let me go and get them that device. Let me go and get them a phone. I ain't got time to be trying to raise
Digital
you.
pacifiers,
Let
you
me
understand
go
me?
ahead and you go ahead and look at YouTube. You
Yep.
go ahead, look at Instagram, TikTok. And so when we talk about, you know, the question you're posing, it's like, okay, it's not like the kids don't understand the individuality. It's great, but there is a downside when you do group thinking and you no longer think on your own.
Yep.
They don't see that. And parents are so either nonchalant about not caring about the product that they're creating to put out here in the society for others to deal with, you know, or you got parents that's like,
Wash their hands.
I'm
yeah,
done.
wash their hands.
That
your
is
hands.
so true to what both of y'all are saying. Like, of course, parenting doesn't come with a manual. We've said that like 100 times. So you've taught what you've been taught.
Yep.
But when it like now, it's like again, this generation, like they're so level off. Like I know 25, 30-year-old grandmas. What? Like why is that happening? Why is that happening? But you know, we're in a different time. No judgment. But I'm just saying, like, so now they didn't really get it all because of lack of communication. So now they're trying to. It's a lot when you're talking about validation because again, because the lines of communication aren't open between parents and children now. They're texting, like Shante said. Texting, sending airplane messages, whatever, but you're not verbally talking because, like she said, they're scared. If Shante comes to her kid like a mother, she might have that face on, like, okay, so what you do? You know what I'm saying? So the child is scared of that. It's like, yeah, I don't want to talk, so I better just go ahead and text it. It's weird. It's just so weird because, like, you're not talking. Like, this is why I want to create this series with these children because I want to know what it's like to be a child in 2023 with lack of communication between. This is gonna be I'm creating a series with kids
I'm glad you are.
because I want to understand. It's gonna be a 4 point. I want to know their frame of thinking now because even when we were younger, some of us we were scared to talk to our parents, but we had to do it. We had to talk to them and tell them, hey. Well, not all of them.
Well,
'Cause you
but
can't
I mean,
really tell them
yeah,
everything.
I mean, the whole point
But you
was
were
you had
forced
to
to.
answer.
Yeah, you had to
to,
answer to it.
you know, like,
You had
okay.
to answer to your
and
parents.
you had to think, you know, we did talk about too, with respect to when you had a conversation with your parents, you had to get your story together. You had to get everybody involved together so that there was well thought out, you know, thought processes and things like that. But again, it comes to, you know, again, kind of being groomed in a certain way. We actually were graded on critical thinking. There was a actual section on the report card, how well you did, you know, complex thinking and things like that.
That must have been a Georgia thing.
Well, I mean, I definitely,
definitely wasn't where I'm
well,
from.
it definitely was a Atlanta public schools thing,
Clearly.
because you literally got graded on
y'all don't know
how
how to
well.
enunciate, baby.
Don't know how to do what?
Enunciate words and proper grammar. Y'all know how to
Critical
do it.
thinking.
That too.
No, well, apparently, we are here today with the Mecca being in Atlanta, and dare I say the Black Mecca. So there was some critical thinking and some thinking going on. But I digress. The point that I was saying was that now that you're talking about thought processes, where each of them touched on, you do have kids being influenced a little bit more, but I think also at the same time, they are also carving out their individuality. They're actually doing something, that when we came from a generation a lot of times of doing what we were told, whether you kind of agree with it or not, out of respect, right? They are, in a lot of cases, bold enough to kind of disagree with you. Like that, no, that doesn't fit who I am and things like that. So I think you're kind of getting the best of both worlds. So you do have a scenario coming from sometimes the parents may not have equipped them so much as we feel like our parents kind of equipped us in some scenarios, but the natural tendency of a human is to express yourself individually, bar none, unless somebody subdues that tendency, your natural expression.
So at what point do we start having the parents take accountability for what's going on?
Well, this is the thing. You can't, that's the fine line, because we all know somebody that was raised in, quote unquote, a textbook household. And they end up being the worst thing on the block. And then you have somebody that looks like on paper they may have grew up in a bad household, and they end up being a quote unquote a model citizen. So you do have to kind of take an accountability in account for the fact that, again, as far as an individual goes, an individual is going to ultimately make their own decision. You know what I'm saying? No matter what environment I put you in, at some point you're going to make individual choices, and those choices sometimes reflect what you grew up on, and sometimes it don't.
Yeah, and that's prime example. My ex, I would see her text her kids, right? And we're upstairs, they're downstairs. And I'm like, you're not gonna call them? You're not gonna like, come on up here. It's text. Or when I pick them up from school, they'll jump in the car.
Don't speak.
You ain't gonna speak. You go. Get out my car. Let's try this again.
Right.
There are some basic stuff.
Basics.
Stuff that the parents are saying, you know what? I'm gonna really compromise with this generation. I agree with you. This generation is one where the kids are really becoming more individual. I mean, that's who they are, and they will take in information from someone of authority. But if it messes with their chi, oh, they're gonna have a problem, right?
Exactly.
And so, how do you balance that out as a parent? And I think, for example, you have to mirror traditions with where they are right now. And what those traditions are is the traditions of, it's just some things that are innate within every ethnic background on how they've raised their kids over generations. And there's just some things that you just have to meet them with.
Yeah.
Like, my cousin, I told her you had a child at 14, 15. And, your son now you're 24, he's 10. And so you sort of allow him to have a free-for-all type life, right? I know we live in Louisiana. You can open your door. You don't necessarily have to worry about crime. And, he can go walk down the street, walk up a couple of blocks, and, no, he's okay. No, 10 years old?
Right.
Where he going at 10 at this hour? It used to be back in the day, okay, mama said, like, hey, I'm gonna give you some money. I want you to go to the store. I need you to bring your tail right back here. And what do you think they did? They came right back. Yep. This one, you say, okay, I want you to go to the store and I want you to pick up some ramen noodles. They gonna stop at Mary Jane house. Yep. They gonna chop it up. They gonna take the slow route. Then they gonna come back and you like, okay, did you get the ramen noodles?
Oh, I forgot. Yep. I agree. I agree with you 100%.
But I think at 20, if I'm having a kid at 24, I really, even though I'm 24, well, I had the kid at 15, I'm now 24. At 24, what did I really know?
It don't matter. No,
it does.
You knew enough to open your legs to have it.
That is a physical.
I don't care. You knew your brain said I knew that.
But I'm saying at your age now, the life lessons that you're learning decades later, at 24, you would think, okay, I'm out of high school, and at 24, I should know some things. But when you go back and you look now at 40 plus, and you're just saying, oh, that's what that meant, and things like that, you're really coming into who you are. At 24, and again, I'm not necessarily excusing somebody's behavior, but I'm saying that if you think about the thought processes that you had, even the most intelligent person at 24 is not really evolved completely when it comes to, a full expression of who you really are. You don't really start finding that stuff out till you hit them late 30s and stuff like that, where you really start to have a certain standard that you hold yourself to, you hold other people around you on, and things like that. And you do have some people that, early on, I consider myself to be pretty bright at 24, but now that I'm in my 50s, I'm like, I didn't know jack.
Well, I'll just say this. I agree with you. There has to be a balance somewhere. Like, kids don't even know the common decency of walking into the room and saying, good morning, good afternoon. And that's something basic. You know what I'm saying? If I don't speak to you, you don't speak to me. You know what I'm saying? It's just weird. Like, I hold everybody that was old enough to have the adult decision to have some sex. I'm holding all that accountable. You're gonna have to take accountability somewhere. I'm not excusing it. You sat there, you laid it low, you spread it wide. You got something in return. Now you need to go ahead and be an adult and start learning how to do adult things.
Because I'm doing physical acts, that
That's
doesn't
fine.
make my mental grow up
That's
with that.
fine, but at that point, you
about-
need to start. Okay, now I'm an adult. I made an adult decision. This time to start getting on
you
adult
got
training.
adults not making adult decisions.
I ain't got nothing to do with that.
I'm just saying though, but
And I'm
if
just
that's going to be
saying.
your standard,
I'm
if you
just
have
saying.
adult, you look at the world today.
I don't want to look at
You
the
got
world.
adults,
looking at my world.
adults making decisions.
I can't-
Somebody posted something that was real funny.
I
They
can't
were
live
saying
for
that
adults. I can only live
that the
myself.
United States gets on me about bad credit, but then they $20-some trillion in debt. But then you know what I'm saying, making me something. But what I'm saying is that on the spectrum of mental maturity, right? Because you can be a certain age and your mental maturity and how you grasp concepts and how you apply them to life, it can vary, just depend, you know what I'm saying, depending on that. So I don't know if saying that a person is 24 and definitely just because they had a physical act, if that puts them on a level where you can expect certain mental response, certain levels of responses from them. And when you talk about speaking, go ahead.
I think too, when we talk about define who we are as individuals, you got to look at the young adults that are in the limelight. Let's bring this up. Let's bring this topic up about the NCAA national championship.
Oh God, yes.
Angel Reese does an act. Kat, and Kat is a bad girl, does the act first. Angel Reese does it second. Why is it this individual is looked at differently? And then again, that's how the media defined her at that time.
Yeah.
So, but is that truly her as an individual? It's not, because once she speaks well, and she's only probably about 19 or something like that. She's not even 24. But even before this, when the women were treated differently than the guys, when they just had a yoga mat to go and work from, and the guys got a full gym, those ladies used their voice as individuals to get it rectified and taken care of. So I don't want us to sit here and think that our audience is thinking we're saying all kids don't have no perspective
Right.
on life, because they actually do.
Right.
But when we think about who judges us as individuals, we have to look at different sources. So we got parents, we got friends, we got social media, then we have the media, period. I mean, Don Staley said the best when you have actual media who writes journals who are sitting here talking about these African American women. And when you look at South Carolina, if you look at the team, I believe it's only 2 Caucasian, the rest are African Americans. So truly, who are they talking about when they depict as monkeys or thugs or anything else? So the individuality is looked at, and we're judged by so many different people, that sometimes when those kids go left, they don't know to go to the right.
Right.
Because they don't know who, although we're parents and we're stern parents and we actually talk to our kids and take that time out, there's still another whole different world out here pushing them this way, while we're 2 individuals, if you have a two-parent household,
yeah.
to pull them this way. But again, I just look at it on that perspective too.
It's true, because you have to have the influence of the peer pressure of the outside world.
Yep.
And we even had peer pressure growing up as well, but they have it triple time now, because body image, hair, you can't do this and you can't do that. It's a lot of pressure with the media being so open now. You know what I'm saying? You have kids, their mind. Of course, I'm sure there's a backstory somewhere where they didn't get it, the nurturing or the communication, whatever they needed from here, so they're going to try to find it from here.
Right.
And it's just a lot with the whole validation thing and trying to figure it out as children. Even adults, even grown people are still struggling with the same thing, like, well, I'm not good enough, or I'm trying to do this and I can't do this because of it. It's a lot. And you have to be a strong-minded individual, which you have to make sure that your mental health is in 100% capacity to take care, or to be able to kind of love yourself, to be love enough yourself enough. I don't need validation from nobody else but Jesus Christ himself. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right.
It's
Some
a lot.
adults still
don't have
They
it.
would say, what you think about, it's a difference when they say, okay, what do you think about this, about me? I'm like, oh, I think that's real nice. Oh, no, I don't think that's nice. Okay, let me go get somebody else. What what do you think about, like,
They were looking
how
for
you
somebody-
think, yeah, keep validating, what do you think about this? Girl, that don't look right. You right, that sure don't look right.
They're looking
You
for
know,
somebody
they-
to agree with them and
yeah.
validate their point of view at the time. I
Yeah,
don't like what Tab say, so I go to Shante to see if she gonna agree with me.
Yeah.
If she agree, because my mind is already made up.
Right.
yeah.
That part.
My mind is already made up. So if Shante agrees with me, they just validated everything that I believe. Oh, okay, that
And
works.
Tab did not know what she was talking
Tab ain't
about.
know, Tab told me that. She didn't know what she was talking about. Thank
Yep.
you, Shanti.
Yeah.
Man, get on. Go sit down.
Yeah, so adults are, there are a lot of adults that I know today, and they range from, I never nowadays want to say just because you have a degree that makes you, that puts you at a different level than someone who doesn't when it comes to
That definitely
having
don't
a
matter no
candid
more.
conversation. It doesn't when it comes to having that candid conversation.
Okay.
Come on, plug it in.
Plug it.
So I talk to a lot of my friends, and it's like, I said, are you not comfortable with yourself and decisions that you make, and not having to seek validation out from someone else? And oh no, I'm good. And I'm like, no, let's just pause and really think about that. Because sometimes we're so quick to give a response, because internally I know you're thinking about what I said, because you may be defensive about me posing it to you.
All up in your head.
Yeah.
Yep.
And challenging that thought process. To go back to what you mentioned earlier, a lot of people, when I enjoy an individual who's an individual. You take the 60s, when during the civil rights era, a bunch of individuals collectively got together to fight for rights, right? These youngsters are doing nothing different. All the shootings in the schools, they're saying enough is enough is enough, right? It's the same concept. A bunch of individuals, they're getting together, but this time their voices are slowly but surely being heard, and they're working together collectively.
Yeah.
And taking their individual thoughts. The parents are like, I had one of my friends, she's like, oh, I'm not saying, no, you're not going to school. I gotta go. I gotta go. I believe in this.
Yeah. That's good.
And that's taking, that generation is no different than the 60s generation, where those parents knew in the 60s, they let their kids go and fight. Well, back then, we were getting hosed. We had dogs biting us. This one's a little bit different,
Yeah.
just a little bit, but the same concept. Same concept is there. So, I appreciate the kids, this generation. However, I still agree with, I still believe that there has to be a balance
It does.
to teach some institutional foundation, because their definition, for example, of respect is completely different than maybe my definition
Yeah.
of what
Yeah.
respect is. And I was in a barbershop, and we do a lot of barbershop talking, and I said, do you know I'm more fearful of seeing a bunch of 12-year-olds to 15-year-old black boys walking down the street that I'm walking on than I am some Klan heads? I said, I'm black, and I'm more fearful of this generation, because they've gotten younger. They've gotten younger. And I'm more fearful of them, because the best a Klan gonna say is N, or you dun da 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 da.
Right.
Versus this generation, who has a sense of independence, and they think independently, but when they come together, that's a collective frame of thinking. And they have, when they step outside that household, they have more of a stronghold than they do their parents. And that, my friends, I feel is a problem, because that child sleeps at that home. For example, child comes home, if that child is in the house, let's say 8 p.m. and don't go back to school until 8 a.m. School is for how long? Let's say, for example, from 9 to 3. What's that? How many hours is that?
2 minutes. Not enough.
About 6 hours.
Yeah.
The outside world have our kids shorter time, but they're more corrupted than they do at home.
Yeah.
So there's a serious disconnect.
Yeah.
So when we talk about, for me, that individuality, yeah, you can still be an individual, but something's missing in that household. Now, obviously, that's if you're in a household that, you know, you have a mother or a father or both, and they're doing the great parenting skills. Obviously, you're gonna have those households don't meet that criteria, right? And I got that. And for those individuals, just like the young lady from LSU, she got so much flack, right? All that media did at the end of the day to switch subjects, all they did for her was go ahead and they had set her up for contracts.
Older.
Yep. All they did,
I
they
was
set
saying in
her
my
up
head,
for
that wasn't nothing but
contracts.
a good old PR. Like, yes, let's roll and fix this.
Well, but that's what you have this generation to thank for it too, because some of the people that are represent brands today could not have represented brands back in the day. Like, I mean, Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg. Before this generation kind of came and erased some of the lines between, you know, what's acceptable and what is kind of reality, they were really, really they had such a high standard on what they said they required to represent their brand. Now, hip hop rules the world, meaning that if they can get a hip hop artist, I mean, I heard one of the car companies playing DMX. You know what I'm saying? Where as now what this generation has kind of ushered in is that, hey, if it makes dollars and cents in some instances, that they will blur the lines and allow some things. And it's a good thing. I just think that, again, if you have a foundation, right, that's the best I think you can do with the kids. You give them a foundation and hope that based on, you know, whatever decisions that they make, at some point they come back to understanding that the foundation that was initially laid makes sense now. May not make sense then at the time, but, you know, makes sense at least later.
Well, we're going to roll it back because we went all off subject like we tend to do here for some reason.
So it's
I don't
candid
know why.
conversations.
But we're going to bring it back in. So my whole thing is I'm not a therapist by a long shot, but I do see them regularly because I need them and not. Pray to yourself, pray to whomever you need to pray to, and seek validation within yourself. Please don't look for it from nobody else because you're not going to find it from nobody else. If you continue to live your life looking for it from somebody else, you'll never get ahead of yourself. So find it yourself. I want to shift the subject matter. How do you think we stop holding on to grudges and animosity? Like, why do people hold on to it for so long? Like, I mean, literally just hold on for dear life.
Sure is looking at Shante.
Triggers. I'm just looking around.
I know. It was
Just
a joke.
Triggers. Just why do we hold on to that? Like, what is the point?
And when I saw that question, again, I mean, I'm not necessarily the best person to probably respond to that. Because I don't do that. You know what I'm saying?
I can tell you
from
don't.
a spiritual standpoint, I already know what happened spiritual-wise. So I know that if I hold on to a grudge, my blessings will be stunned.
Oh,
So I can't
wait.
afford.
One more time. Say that one more time.
I know that if I hold on to the grudges, my blessings will be stunned.
Period.
So, giving an example, my brother and I, back in 2018, he was staying with me. And we both have the same mom. When we lost our mom, he had made a comment. And I didn't appreciate the comment. So I was like, okay, this is a clean audience, right?
You can
I
slide
was like,
one. You can
nah,
slide
I
one
ain't
of
gonna
them.
slide nothing. So I
Okay.
was like, okay, you go ahead. You go ahead and pack your stuff up and get out. Oh, you serious? Yeah, I'm dead serious. So at that moment, right, you know, I'm in my feelings about what we're saying.
Right.
Go and get your stuff, go and get out. You serious? Yeah. So he gets out, and then he moves from here to Mississippi. And obviously, I was in my feelings based off of what he said. I didn't hold a grudge. I'm gonna always, and he knows it. Every time we fall out, I'll always love you from afar.
Yeah.
Because how can I say I love God whom I have not seen and not love the person who is in the flesh that I see every day? So I can't live like that. So I tell him, I love you from afar. I still love you. I mean, I'm still a little upset with what you said. So I got to process what you said and then allow God to work on that. To know that at the end of the day, that words, those are words that people will use to try to hurt you, but I don't need for you to process that because you are a child of love.
Come on.
Because I am love. So, fast forward. Every time my brother gets in trouble, hey sis, just calling. All right, how you doing? How you doing? Cause that's my brother. It's just he and I, right? And so I'm gonna show him love. And he was like, finally, after these years, he said, hey, I just want to let you know, a lot of stuff that have been said, by myself, I just want to apologize for it. And, tomorrow is never promised. And he said, right now I'm in the process of having to probably be put in hospice. So, like I said, God works in divine order. And had I held a grudge and not picked up that phone, so the last time I would have heard from him was, in my mind, it would have been, go and get out my house.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, that's not my personality.
Yeah.
And so I say to folks, if you hold it in, even if you're not a spiritual person, just understand that physical-wise, it would eat you up. More importantly, it's going to eat you up mental. It's going to affect you mentally if you hold on to grudges and don't let them go.
Yeah. What about you, Shante? How you feel about that? She said, "Ha, you hold them, Shante."
No, what I think I do is I forgive, but I don't forget.
There you go.
So when I thought about this early, and I told you I might not be the best one to answer, and it ain't because I'm the spiritual side of me. It's because the cancer side of me, to be honest with you. But like I said, I'm gonna forgive you, but I don't forget. And in that realm, I think family is totally different than friends or associates. And just because I categorize you as friend don't mean I don't think of you as family. You know what I'm saying? So some of your friends are closer to you than what your family really are, and family can be cut off too. But I think that in that portion of it, when I choose not to deal with you anymore, it's because of what you've done and the magnitude of what you've done. See, for me, and people can look at me and say, "Oh, she don't play the." I don't play. I don't like to go to recess because I don't like to play.
I know
but
that's right.
I'm truly a loving, caring person, and I think once you take that for granted, or you make me feel like you took that for granted, I can't deal with you anymore. That's not holding a grudge. That's me choosing to know who to put in my space because I have that option.
Yep, you're setting the boundary at that point.
Right, and you're done.
Yeah. Okay. CPO.
So yeah, I think it's a difference between setting boundaries and definitely holding grudges. But I think the reason that most people hold grudges is the need to be right.
So it's a pride thing.
So yeah, it's a pride thing. I feel right or righteous or superior. So I'm gonna hold something over you to basically keep reminding myself that I'm right. So holding that position, sometimes again you go into it from the point of I'm right, you're wrong, you did this, so I'm gonna hold that over you. Right?
I just think that's so stupid.
Well, but based on my
It's so
level of
dumb.
processing how I, you know what I'm
It's
saying,
so
now you ultimately know
stupid.
that you're only doing it to yourself, right? There's no
Yeah.
action that you can do that you're not ultimately doing to yourself.
Right.
But in the moment of wanting to be right, to have something to hold over somebody's head, or to almost feel like a victim too, to support my story, it may mean I got to hold a grudge against you. So depends on what kind of story I want to tell. And we all know humans love a good story, right? That's why movies and TV and all that stuff make such good, why it's so popular and stuff like that. But I've never found that a person not holding a grudge, again, because they feel in their position on what happened, that I feel like you did me wrong and I want to never get over it and I want to keep having something to hold over you.
I just think that's so stupid. I just so dumb. I'm gonna tell you why. Because not to say your point is stupid.
Oh,
just to say you're stupid.
hey, it's
So
candid conversation.
here's the thing. Do you know how many arguments or bad blood can be squashed just by opening the hole between your chin and your nose? Just communicate. All you gotta do is talk. And I think the mistake people do is they lead with their freaking emotions and you're not hearing somebody. So it's just like, if you come at me with that yada, 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 I'm just gonna black you out because I'm not gonna hear that. I need you to come at me like an adult with a model tone voice so I can understand what you're saying. We're talking like adults, humans. But when you go here and I'm here, check out. I'm not listening because I'm not gonna do it. Come to me when you relax so we can talk about it. I just feel like I've seen so many people have relationships for years, loyalty type relationships, 20, 30 years friendships, associates, and they did one thing and that was probably just mediocre. And instead of talking about it, again, the pride kicks in, and now everybody up here on 10. And if let's say you do forgive, you forgave me for whatever we did. We talk about it. The next time we have an argument, guess what? You're throwing that right back up in my face. So obviously you didn't forgive me. So this is the part where I give you your marching papers. Thank you for your services.
So
You're
what's
no
the
longer
line
needed.
between forgiving and forgetting, though? Because
You will never forget.
Well, but I mean, forgetting is not bringing it up, right? That's a
Yeah.
form of not bringing it up. Whereas if I say I'm actually done with it, right? Whatever you do today, I can actually say, okay, well, Shante, you did this yesterday. Now here you come today doing a repetitive type of behavior, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't necessarily have to throw it up, but mentally, if I'm looking at you from a point of this is just a pattern of who you are, right? But the grudge thing, I think, again, still comes in from a point of wanting to be one up on somebody. You know what I'm saying? I want to be in a higher position about a certain thing that happened, which is a little different from me forgiving you, but then I can still be holding a grudge because I feel like I'm right about it. So if I'm right and you're wrong, then now I feel some type of superior, now I'm in this position, which is why people
that's a
go
mental problem.
years. Well, I mean,
That's
I'm
a
not saying that
mental
it's
thing.
right. I'm just saying that that's kind of where when you peel back the layer on the grudge, like you said, it could be something seemingly minor,
I beat
right?
you with something.
Right, but when you talk to me about it, the conversation that's going to be had is about, well, I feel like I was right, or is somewhere down the line you're going to hear either I feel like I was right or I feel like you was wrong, which is the same thing.
I think communication should be taught. It should be taught now in corporate America. It should be taught now in church. It should be taught in therapy. Communication needs to be taught somewhere. Like when they should have gave us a credit course in school or whatever, they should have been teaching communication, because I think a lot of stuff could be ironed out just by talking to somebody with respect and just talking, because it's just like, why are we having this conversation? Why are we having this? Just like we talking now like adults.
But that's not always easy.
It's not, but I think it should be taught to where you can hit things to be like, okay, like if I get into, like if somebody wants to have an argument with me, I'm literally trying to process it, and I'm going to stop and think before I invoke a reaction. I literally stop and think about it. Now, okay, a couple years ago, no, it's flying out. I don't care what it's coming out.
Because somebody have taught you not to
it's
do
like,
that,
it's
though.
because of my therapist. She literally was like, okay, you have to like kind of stop, see what the trigger point is, and just stop before you make a reaction. Because I was saying this last show, no human on the face of this earth will ever to be able to invoke verbiage to me to get a reaction out of me, ever again.
Physical reaction.
Any kind of reaction that's going to take me out of my energy.